Charles City Council meeting for Monday, November 4th, 2024. Sam, can you please call the roll?
Volk.
Here.
Bongard.
Here.
Munn.
Here.
Gem.
Here.
Lencioni.
Here.
Petula.
Here.
Wirball.
Here.
Besner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Kulkaitis.
Here.
Thank you. Tonight's invocation will be given by Alderman Lencioni.
Thank you very much. Please, Lord, help us appreciate the solemn duty we've taken on and guide us in living up to that responsibility and to come together as a body and as a community.
Thank you. Alderman Wirball, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any presentations during the council meeting this evening. We do not have old business. Under new business, we have item A, a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the execution. Omnibus vote. Alderman Besner, you're first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the omnibus vote.
Second.
Moved by Besner, second by Lencioni. Any comments or questions? Nancy, please call the roll.
Volk.
Yes.
Bongard.
Yes.
Munn.
Yes.
Gem.
Yes.
Lencioni.
Yes.
Petula.
Yes.
Wirball.
Yes.
Besner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Thank you. As mentioned, we do not have old business, but under new business, we have item A, a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of St. Charles and the Metropolitan Alliance of Police Number 27 officers.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Lencioni, seconded by Gem. Any questions or comments? Nancy, please call the roll.
Volk.
Yes.
Bongard.
Yes.
Munn.
Yes.
Gem.
Yes.
Lencioni.
Yes.
Petula.
Yes.
Wirball.
Yes.
Besner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Thank you. Under committee reports, we have government operations with Alderman Weber, and I believe you have an item, and that City Administrator McGuire will expand on.
That's correct. Item A5, I'd like to make a motion to discuss.
Second.
Moved by Weber, who's seconded by Besner. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. And this is really less of a discussion. I know that I was not here for the committee presentation on the tax levy, so I just wanted to take the opportunity tonight to give council a few items to consider. And the first is really simply to provide an explanation of how the 1.7% recommendation that Director Hanna and I have determined will be an appropriate way to fund our expenditures for the upcoming fiscal year will impact the residents of the City of St. Charles. I realize that tax levy calculations are complex and they involve determinations by both the city as a dollar amount that we are requesting, coupled with the county's property value assessments determination. So what I want to do is provide an example that Director Hanna and I worked up so everybody can understand that impact on those existing properties in the city. So the first thing that we do as a city is make a determination about what dollar amount we will levy against each of those properties that already exist in the city. We then take that dollar amount and provide that to the county. That dollar amount is then spread across all of the EAV that exists in the City of St. Charles. This year, we have a number of properties that are coming online from new construction and the expiration of our TIF District Number 3, and that is atypical, the number of properties that we do have coming online this year. What we have done is increase our dollar amount of our levy to account for that new property, which allows us to increase our total dollar receipts, but keep the dollar amount assessed against each of the existing properties flat. So I know that's kind of hard to conceptualize, so what I'm going to do is attempt to provide an example to explain how that works. In my example, I'm just going to assume 10 houses, all at equal assessed value. So if in 2023 the city set a tax levy of $10,000 and we had 10 houses to assess that levy against, each house would pay $1,000 in tax. For purpose of this example, I'm just going to disregard the property values and the tax rate and just focus on the tax that's actually paid. If in 2024 we had a single new house that was constructed with the exact same value and we wanted to capture that new revenue, we would need to increase our levy by $1,000. What this would mean is that the city then extends an $11,000 levy, increase from the $1,000 from the previous year, and since that levy is now assessed against 11 houses rather than 10, each house is still only paying $1,000. Our total receipts as a city go up, but the impact to each of the existing property owners remains flat. So our recommendation to increase our levy by 1.7% is doing exactly that, just capturing the additional construction that's gone online this year. So before I move on to any of my other points, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that example and see if there are any questions either I or Director Hannah can answer about that.
Regarding that example?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding that example? Okay, thank you.
Great. So the second comment I want to make is regarding the existing revenue at the city and projects that we will undertake. This is my fourth tax levy presentation before the City Council, and each year there's been somewhat of a reluctance to increase property taxes due to the impact on residents. While as a resident myself, I understand that concern, but I want to take a moment to ensure Council understands the impact of not having reliability in both increased and diverse revenue sources. We are just starting to make a dent in our total debt. We are going to be down to $88 million at the end of this fiscal year from just $107 million 4 years ago. Last week, we heard our Public Works Department explain how our mandated lead service line project went from 30 years mandated by the federal government to just 10 years. The current estimates that we have are that will require us to pay an $8.4 million per year by the city for 10 years. Because we did not follow our recommended rate study in previous years, we are already supplementing our utility funds with a sum of $2 million from the previous fiscal year. This is not even enough money to support our ongoing maintenance and operations, yet alone this unfunded mandate. This is also not accounting for the number of long-term projects we have that will be required to sustain continued development on the east side, like the trunk main extension. Council has also requested staff to add resources into the budget for strategic projects and enhancements to the city. However, if staff cannot rely upon these revenue sources to generate our general fund, to fund our general fund operations, emergency projects, and unfunded mandates, we will not be able to recommend those strategic projects be put into our budget ultimately. And I just want to emphasize that those projects are a big part of what makes St. Charles a community that draws residents, businesses, and visitors and sustains those other resources that we have via sales tax. Some of the projects that staff would recommend to not fund in upcoming fiscal years are projects that we have just talked about in the last year. Those include restoration of the Piano Factory Bridge, any bike and pedestrian improvements, parking deck counters. We would have to reconsider the funds that have been dedicated to street rehabilitation and our GAP sidewalk program. Again, these are just projects that we've talked about in the last calendar year alone. The third comment I want to make is regarding the impact. Our goal as a staff is to diversify our revenue sources and minimize our impact to residents as much as possible. This is often accomplished by incremental increases. This helps all residents, but especially those residents who are on fixed incomes and are not able to absorb significant increases all at once. Based on the number of mandated projects and operational costs, we will not be able to continue operations and mandated projects over the next several years without some significant increase at some point. Strategic projects aside, when we present increases, we always include those actual dollars and how those will translate to residents via changes to their monthly and yearly bills. The final comment I want to make is just a reminder that as a staff with a large amount of new EAV coming online this year, we were able to keep those tax dollars flat for the existing residents and took a very close look at our budget for next year. This is a $268,000 increase. However, this is not something that we can depend on or count on in future years. So I'm asking Council to consider all of these items, not just this year, but when both looking at the tax levy and budget comprehensively to ensure we are not just meeting our obligations, but continuing to make St. Charles a municipal leader.
Thank you, City Administrator. I know we have a motion on the table from Weber and a second by Besner, and I'll turn to my right to see if anyone has any comments. Bonner.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, this is just in response. You don't have to get up. So I voted no in committee, not because I was against, the recommendation, but more so it felt like this body needed more time to talk, and explore. So what I'm most interested in is this continual conversation I think that I brought up over the last few years about you have a lot of obligations. You have an aging city with infrastructure needs. You have debt service payments you're making back, pensions. So making sure that we are putting forth a plan, not just a 12-month, here's our recommendation and let's see where we are, but this idea that, regardless of who's sitting up here at this body, that we actually have a strong fiscal financial plan for the next 4, 8, 12 years. Obviously, things have to be approved, but that was more of my I don't want to say objection or hesitation about trying to make sure that this group has a plan, and it sounds like, based on some of the conversations, we are getting closer, but that's still where I'd like to see us getting, so that we're not doing this every 12 months or so of this, well, here's the recommendation, but now let's see where we can go. So I'll support this.
Mr. Lancioni.
Thank you. In budget talks that we've had and taken a look at this, the 1.7% increase is incredibly conservative. And I know some people didn't feel like they understood it, but that is literally no increase to a resident's tax bill. I supported this very much in coming in hard on tax increases this year, because to go to zero would be giving everybody a tax decrease when we're taking a look at unfunded mandates for lead line replacement. And all the other unfunded, the replacement of the trunk sewer line, things that we have coming up. We're getting out of a spot where we weren't able to keep our streets on an appropriate replacement cycle. So we've been aggressive because the need was at us. And I know the need is going to be there in the future. And my thought on this is, as some of these things are coming up, there are going to be increases in the future. I expect to plan on it because we have important things that are coming up. But right now, we've been aggressive and we have things under control. But anything and I'm very, aggressively in saying we've had increases and we have things coming in the future, but let's match our revenues towards that. But anything under 1.7 is irresponsible. So I think it's incredibly aggressive keeping it at 1.7, because there is, if we were just going to spend, we could ask for more, but we'll wait for those things to come forward. I applaud the administration in the work that they've done. Anything under 1.7 is incredibly irresponsible. So, I've taken the work. I understand this completely, and I think that we've done a great job. I support it wholeheartedly.
Anyone else on this side? No? Anyone on this side? Yes.
I just want to clarify something. In the memo, it said the 2024 estimated levy as presented would result in no increase for the owner of an existing home. However, this assumes no change in the assessed value of a home relative to the other properties in the city as a whole. However, those assessment changes are ultimately determined by the township and county. So I think the last time we did this, we had an assessed valuation. The sales price, I think, was around $300,000, if I recall. So this year, I think the average sales price in St. Charles is around $400,000. So I think that's where I'm a little concerned, is that I think there's an assumption being made, and I had a conversation with someone at the township, the assessor's office, and, this is really an assumption. So I just, so I have concerns with that, because I can't go out and tell somebody, listen, your property taxes won't go up from the city's portion when there's assumptions being made, you know what I'm saying? So I have a difficult time with that.
And I'm happy to respond to that. I think that's why the tax rate and the assessed value comes into play, and that's something that we don't have control over. However, what we can say is our dollar amount threshold is only going up by the estimate of what that new property value is bringing in. So even if those other properties are going up in assessed valuation, what that ends up impacting is our tax rate ultimately goes down, because our dollar is capped. What we set our dollar amount is what the dollar amount is. So even if those properties go up, it just ends up lowering our tax rate ultimately. So there might be some minor fluctuations in what each resident is paying, but we're not impacting anybody at any significant, minus handfuls of dollars.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Nancy, will you please call the roll?
Folks?
Yes.
Bongard?
Yes.
Munn?
Yes.
Scam?
Yes.
Lancioni?
Yes.
Petula?
No.
Wirball?
No.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Lefevre?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, City Administrator. Under Government Services, Alderman Bongard, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
And under Planning and Development, Alderman Lancioni, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Do we have any public comment this evening? Sure, come on up.
I like that guy.
Good evening, Mayor Vitek and all the city council members. My name is Mike Folks, and I'm here tonight to make you all aware, I'm sure most of you are, about the Veterans Day ceremonies coming up a week from today, I think, in St. Charles. We appreciate your support, and I put a flyer on in front of everybody there. If you would blast it out on your social media pages, please. We get a lot of support from the city of St. Charles, and we really appreciate it. You open up the firehouse to us for inclement weather for this ceremony, and the chairs are set up by the firemen, and it's very nice. And your support does not go unnoticed. And it's a reflection on what a wonderful community it is to live in St. Charles with the cooperation we get. After the ceremony, you can go over to the Veterans Center, and the auxiliary ladies are cooking chili, okay? And it's pretty tame, okay? There's no hot sauce in any of it, okay? And in the evening, at St. Charles North High School, they annually have a Veterans Day concert up there. And you'll have to go to the web page to find out if there's still tickets available or not. It's a wonderful concert, a very patriotic concert and moving concert that takes you back to the days of your childhood when you used to hear people singing those songs, okay? Just once again, I want to thank the city and everything they do for the Veterans Center. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Mr. Fultz.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Anderson.
Tom Anderson, 712 Warren. I came because I'm supporting the DEI committee, because Chris is on it. But if I have an opportunity to talk about bicycling, I better do it. So thank you for putting Charles in the street. And I think it is, for a biker, has drivers more aware that there's going to be bikes around, and maybe, hopefully, a lookout for me and like everybody else. But many people have come to me, several, and said, what are we supposed to do with that? Do we park on top of them? Do we drive over them? Does it mean somebody, a smart guy says, hit a bicycler? I don't know. Anyway, education of that and future biking things, I think, is needed in the city. But to compliment you on what you've done, and looking forward to a 2025 budget that puts a lot into bicycling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? I have a couple things to echo with what Mr. Fultz has said. In addition to expand on the timing, you can go to the St. Charles Veterans Center social media sites or their website to find out at the exact time. But there is the Veterans Day ceremony here on November 11th at 10:30 in the fire station 1 across the way here. It's a great event. Please attend that. Before and after the Veterans Center is open, in addition to North's event, Thompson has a really great event in the morning that I'll be attending. So I know if you have any questions about any of the Veterans Day events, you can contact Mr. Fultz or the Veterans Center. So thank you for bringing those to our attention. We appreciate it. We appreciate your service too. A couple other things I'll mention. November is Native American Heritage Month, and this celebrates the rich cultures and histories of American Native peoples. It is during this month that we acknowledge the vast achievements of America's original indigenous people who are deeply rooted in the history of St. Charles and the entire Fox Valley. November 8th is also National STEM Day, so if you know a student who's interested in science, technology, or engineering, like Ms. Corcoran right here, or math, you encourage them to consider a municipal career. We have positions that can do that in all of these industries here in St. Charles. So I didn't want to just call out Ms. Corcoran, but your parents will be happy I did. So I appreciate all the students that are here tonight. Thank you for attending. I know you'll be here for the next couple of weeks. We have some birthdays, and Derek did not take the day off on his birthday. He's here tonight, so Director Conley, happy birthday again. And the guy to my left, Alderman Gem's birthday is tomorrow, so have a happy birthday. You had to be here tonight because it is not your birthday. So, anyone on council have any other comments they'd like to make? Yes,
I have just one small one. I wanted to ask if it's possible that staff could take a look at what our Halloween hours are for next week. We've gotten some comments from the public because in the past couple of years, the schools have changed their dismissal hours, and that's changed bus hours, and we have kids that aren't even getting home until like 3:40. So if we could take a look at maybe adjusting those by maybe
I can actually
an hour.
address that because we just had this conversation last week, and they are being adjusted next year.
Okay.
So thank you for that
Fantastic.
comment because that is a valid concern. I know most kids are now, so.
Awesome.
So thank you for that.
Thanks.
Anything from staff? No? Okay, then I just need a motion to adjourn.
So,
Oh, you,
That's on the next committee.
Next agenda.
next agenda, I'm sorry. there's
We
one
didn't
more
forget about you,
meeting.
you'll see.
But I appreciate your enthusiasm this segment.
Sue, we never miss you.
Okay, motion moved by Linsky,
Second.
seconded by Wirball. Nance, can you please call the roll?
Folds,
Yes.
Baumgart,
Yes.
Munn,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Lincioni,
Yes.
Petrola,
Yes.
Wirball,
Yes.
Besser,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Kulturitis.
Yes.
No.